Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Vijayendra Singh Tawar, Associate Professor in English, and presently I have been posted at Government College, Buddha, in the Jhunjhunu district. In this series of video lectures, which is being prepared by me, today's video lecture is meant for the students of English Literature, Class BA Part 2nd, Paper 1st, and in this video, I have talked about the explanation of the famous poem of Nissim Ezekiel entitled Night of the Scorpion. The poem is one of the most famous poem in English literature. It is taught in almost all the universities of the India and also abroad. So before we come to the explanation, let us listen something about the poet. Nissim Ezekiel, from the name, it appears that he is not an Indian poet, but he is an Indian poet. He was born in 1924 and died in 2004. He was an Indian Jewish poet, actor, playwright, editor, and art critic. Means he played many roles during his lifetime. He was a foundational figure in post-colonial India's literary history, specifically for Indian poetry in English. Means he is one of those, you can say, literary personalities who try to set the trend, what kind of literature will appear in the coming years. He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1983 for his collection Later Day Psalms. Let me tell you that Nissim Ezekiel was a prolific writer. He has written many poems and he has also published many volumes of poems. The one such volume was entitled Later Day Psalms, and it was awarded and he was honored with Sahitya Academy Award. He happens to be one of the most productive talents and most distinctive poetic personalities of modern India. Modern India, when we say modern India, means after independence. Having produced 7 volumes of poetry to date, he is acknowledged by all and sundry, by everyone, as an established Indian English poet of the post-independence era. Besides this, he has written a large number of poems published in literary journals and magazines from time to time. He is a man of varied tastes and interests and preoccupations. Besides teaching poetry and prosody at the University of Mumbai, he also edited a number of literary journals, wrote reviews. In a word, he was a versatile genius. Let me tell you one thing, that he was a professor. He was serving, appointed in the Department of English of Bombay University, and he retired from there as a head of the department. He got retirement from the Bombay University. Now let us come to the poem. Night of the Scorpion is one of the finest poems of Nissim Ezekiel. It was first published in the exact name in 1965. The exact name is the volume or collection of poems which was published by the poet in 1965. And this poem has been admired by all the critics. In this poem, the poet has depicted a common Indian situation. It reads like a story. The poet narrates an incident of his mother was stung by a scorpion one night when it was raining heavily. Means it is a narrative poem. An incident has been narrated throughout the poem. It was raining heavily and his mother was bitten by the scorpion. The description of the incident is perfectly natural and realistic. It shows that Ejkil is a very Indian poet, rooted in the Indian soil and acutely aware of the common human situation of the day-to-day human life. Now, let us come to the explanation of the poem. The poem, as I have told you, is a narrative poem. It has narrated an incident. So it reads like prose, that in a very easy language. The diction, the words, the vocabulary used by the poet is very, very easy. Even an ordinary person can understand what the poet wants to say. The poet says, I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpion. Now, see the direct or abrupt beginning. The poet says there was a night or one night his mother was bitten by a scorpion and he remembered that night. Means that incident or what happened during that night is still remembered by the poet. 10 hours of steady continuous rain had driven him to crawl beneath his sack of rice. Now, the scorpion has also been given human attributes. The poet says, during that night or before that incident, it rained heavily and it had been raining for 10 hours. So there was water everywhere. The place where scorpion was filled with water. The scorpion was compelled to leave that place and he reached or he find his shelter under a sack of rice, bag of rice. And his mother happened to visit that place and the scorpion bit her. Parting with his poison, parting giving, he bit the mother and gave, or we can say gave her his poison to the mother. Flash of diabolic tale. Flash, a momentary glimpse, devilish tale in the dark room. As there was dark in that room, so within a flash, it was recognized that it was scorpion who bit the mother. Devilish, devilish tale means we should remember that scorpion always bit its victim by its tail, not by its mouth. Remember. And when it had bitten the mother, it knew very well that now it was not safe to live there. So he risked the rain again. He left that place and moved somewhere else, even in the rain. Means Scorpion also knew that he had committed a crime and human beings will kill him. The peasants, the neighbors, villagers who came to know about the incident, they came like swarms of flies, large number of groups. It is hyperbole. The poet has used hyperbole. Means many people, or we can say a large number of people from the neighborhood came and buzzed the name of God 100 times. They were uttering the name of God just to pacify, to give relief, and also to express their sympathy for the victim, to paralyze the evil one, to render paralyzed, to render ineffective, become ineffective, unable to walk. Evil, that is devil. Devil here is scorpion. They were villagers. They used to believe in certain things. We will come to know in the coming lines. They had a set of principles in their mind, ideology, which we human beings call superstitions. But they believed in these things and they were very confident of their ideology. So with candles and with lanterns, throwing giant scorpion shadows on the sun-baked walls, they searched for him. Giant, as I told you in previous video also, meanings have been given. The difficult words, meanings, or the explanation of certain lines also given. Giant means huge shadows which seem to be magnified reflection of the scorpion which had bitten the woman. Means peasants with lanterns and candles, they were coming towards the residence of the mother. As they were coming, their shadows were falling on the walls which were plastered with soil and cow's dung, and which were become hardened in the sun. They were searching for the scorpion. He was not found, but the scorpion was not found. They clicked their tongue, uttered, that is, they expressed their sympathy with every moment that the scorpion made his poison moved in mother's blood. They said, now see the thinking or ideology of these people. They were confident of their ideology. The first thing they believed that if the scorpion was moving on the earth somewhere, that moment will cause that the poison in the mother's blood will also move in other parts of the body. It was a belief. So what they requested or they prayed to God, may he sit still. Means he may find a place and did not move here and there. May the sins of, why? Because they believed that if the scorpion will stay at one place, the mother will not feel pain in other parts of the body. May the sins of your previous birth, as being a Hindu, they believed in rebirth. So in Hindu philosophy, if it is believed or it is said that if you have committed sins in your last birth, you will have to pay for them. You will have to suffer for them. So they said that if the sins committed by her in her last birth may be burned away tonight. Means she was suffering, she was feeling very much pain, so they thought that those sins will clear. Means they are suffering or the misfortune that will be caused in her life by those sins which committed by her in previous birth will now no more be effective. May your suffering decrease the misfortunes of your next birth, they said. They again believed or said that if she had not committed any sin in the last birth, then if she has committed any sin during this life, then their effect will not go into the next birth. May the sum of all evil balanced in this unreal world, world of illusion, this world, physical world, may become the sum of all our misfortunes or evil, we can say sin, balanced in this unreal against the sum of good become diminished by your pain, which might have caused some kind of imbalance that will become balanced, that is equal. They will, her sins will be diminished, will be decreased by this pain. She will not have to suffer in the next life or in this life because she has suffered now. She is suffering now. May the poison purify your flesh, body of desire. They also said that this sting may cause the purification of her body from all kinds of sinful desire, and your spirit of ambition also become pure. They said, and they sat around on the floor with the mother in the center. The mother was on a mat. She was wrenched. She was feeling very pain, and all the people or the villagers who came, they sat around her in a circle. The peace of understanding on each face. Every villager was giving the impression that he was the most intelligent and knowledgeable person. And whatever they have said in the previous lines is true. More candles, more lanterns. When this news spread in to the other villagers, they also came with the same kind of group. Lanterns, more candles, more neighbors, more insects. That is shadows on the sun-baked wall, and the endless and rain was continue. It was heavily raining. The mother twisted through. Twisted here means wrenched the body, convulsed, bent and curling a distorted shape because of pain. Mother was passing through extreme pain, you can say. Groaning on a mat, and she was not only feeling inwardly, but she was crying also on the mat. Now this was the reaction of the villagers, now the reaction of the father. My father, certain non-believer, he did not believe in superstitions or other things. He did not accept the orthodox religious beliefs. You can say rationalist who believes in reason and not in superstition, but logical thinking. Trying every curse and blessing. Every curse and blessing, all the things, whether they belong to religion or to science. He used all things, all the possible means to bring the mother relief. Powder, mixture, herb, hybrid means some kind of powder or medicine, mixture, herb, medicinal plant, hybrid combination, mixture of herbs, jadi butiya, etc. He applied every means which was available to cure the mother, whether it belongs to science or to other thing. He even poured a little paraffin wax. He even placed some paraffin or wax upon the beaten toe of the mother, and put a match to it and fired it. I watched the flame feeding on my mother. The poet saw that the burning fire was causing burning of the toe of the mother, and he saw it. I watched the holy man perform, the religious person. His rites, religious ceremony or solemn act, etc., to attempt to control the poison with an incantation by chanting of mantras. The holy man or the religious person was also doing its religious activities to control the poison of the scorpion to reach in the other parts of the body by his chanting of mantras. The idea is everyone was busy and everyone was trying his or her way to cure the mother, to give relief to the mother. This continued. After 20 hours, it lost its sting. And this continued for 20 hours. After 20 hours, the mother felt relieved as the sting of the scorpion came out or was lost. Here it means become ineffective. Now see in the last three lines, this is you can say Indian mother's reaction, typical Indian mother, and it is expected on the Indianness. My mother only said, when the mother became normal, she made a comment. What she made? She thanked God. She thanked God. The scorpion picked on me, chose, and spared me, did not cause harm. or abstained from hurting my children. It's the typical Indian mother's reaction. She said she thanked God for the scorpion bit her, not her children. Means if the scorpion had bitten her children, then the pain was more painful to her than this which she suffered for 20 years. This shows that the poet Nissim Ezkil was an Indian and he understood the Indian thinking, Indian superstition, Indian beliefs. Moreover, the mother or the Mumta of Indian mother was well known to him. Thank you very much.